everyone. Welcome back finally to the Angry Advocate podcast. I am Ash, owner of Angry Ginger Productions, doing things at Bad Burger and all things in between. It's been a bit since we've done an episode of the podcast. We have the Angry Advocate Fest coming up in a couple of weeks, so we have a few episodes to come out just before that happens. Ed should hopefully be coming back within the next episode or two. Just with life happening, he needs to take care of those things first. But welcoming to the show, I have Devon from Farsight.
How's it going?
Hello. Let me switch this. There we go. Beautiful. How is your Monday going?
Going good. I'm getting over a little bit of a sickness, but I was fine over the weekend. We just played in Queens at Bar Frida with Punch Your Face and a couple other bands as well.
Hell yeah. How did that go?
Good time. I've never played over in that area. I've played with another band somewhere else, maybe in that area of Queens, but I've never brought Farsight over there into that venue. So it was a good time. People were having a lot of fun down there.
Hell yeah. I was in Brooklyn, I think twice within this year for shows, and it was like pretty cool spots. Like,
oh yeah, Brooklyn's got a lot of spaces between. Like the Monarch is like probably one of the biggest spots, at least for like locally. Then there's the Meadows, the Wood Shop I haven't been to, and then back in Queens was Bar Frida, and then there's a couple other spots in between there too.
Absolutely. That's awesome. No, I love that there's still so many areas down there that you can get local music.
Oh, yeah. And that's not even including Long Island, because Long Island itself has at least like maybe like a couple spots, but there's always a show happening here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's amazing. That's what I've noticed like up here, because I'm in Manchester, New Hampshire area, but I'm originally from like Hudson Valley, New York area.
Oh, word. Nice.
Yeah, like somewhat near Poughkeepsie. So like me seeing Reason and Ruckus like happening like just makes like me so happy and such.
Yeah.
Like, growing up there wasn't like as many spots like out there.
Yeah. Reason and Ruckus is a really cool spot. I believe we are hitting there at some point on our tour. I think the first date, if I'm not, maybe on another tour. There's a lot of dates going around, but
yeah,
I believe we have plans to go there.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I love that spot. I've seen it like from before they like completely opened it up back there and such, and I just love like what they're doing and such there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So hopping into questions, number one, how long has Farsight been a band, and how long have you been doing music for?
Farsight's been a band, I'd say, out in the world since 2021, but we've been planning Farsight since at least like 2019. We spent like a year or so developing music, and we were going to release music initially in 2020, and then of course the pandemic happened, so we ended up just dropping music a year later. I've been doing music for about maybe 10-11 years, along with myself and Matt Fischetti, who's the other guitar player in this band. We had another band before this called My Sword and Shield back in like 2015 to about 2018. That's kind of like where we began with this new band Farsight, because we were developing a new sound. At the time we had a new vocalist, and everything was just like completely different from where we had started. So we were like, might as well just make something new.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. And then like when you were starting to think about it, like did COVID like play a role in like the starting of that? Because you were like saying like starting to be in the works like 2019, but then like coming out like 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think by the time that we wanted to drop the music, we were more like, you know what, maybe this break is kind of a good thing. We can spend some more time on the mixing and the recording and getting some of the music videos together, and at least just like putting a little bit more thought into it. Because when we dropped that initial like music video and the EP, was a really, really cool release.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that makes it's like cool to see how like differently it has affected like different bands like that, like it can like make or break them in a way.
Yeah, totally. And even throughout that time, because we had that extended amount of time, since we were already done writing that music in the beginning of 2020, we ended up writing the second EP in the start of in the later end of 2020. So we kind of got a little bit of a head start there.
Yeah, have gotten like the ball rolling and like to keep it like going and such.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because that's like I feel that can be an issue with bands is like they pump out something, then like it becomes almost stagnant because it's like all right to like get that ball like rolling again
Yeah,
to keep like the algorithm and everything like happy and going with it is just
exactly. Yeah. It did take a little bit for our second EP to lift off the ground because I feel like sometimes when you make your first body of music, it's hard to kind of recreate that because it was almost like a happy accident. And then we were developing some new sounds. And then as far as right now goes, because we have a new vocalist and a new drummer since like January, it was kind of a similar thing, but we've been writing like a lot of music than ever before. So we're really excited to put that out when it's finally fully fledged out. We're in the middle of recording a lot of that right now.
awesome. That's amazing. Hell yeah. Can't wait to hear
Yeah, thank you.
it. Going into question two, what is your favorite show that you've played so far with Farsight?
Oh man, favorite show? We played so many places now that we've been touring like up and down the coast. We've been as north as Maine, as south as North Carolina, and there's definitely like a few shows that were just like unbelievably just a cool vibe. It doesn't matter about the size, it's matter about like the bands that you're playing with and the people that you're playing to. I'd
Mhm.
say there was a time where we played Plattsburgh the first time at the Monopole with this band Geeked Out. We're actually playing in Plattsburgh again. Um, I think, yeah, here, the October 25th, we're playing at Peabody's, which is right near the Monopole with
Okay.
Geeked Out. And it was just like, it was a really late show. I think doors were probably like 8 or 9 o'clock, and we probably played at like 11 o'clock. And it was
It's
hot
bad
and
burger
sweaty.
times, yeah.
Yeah, it was hot and sweaty, and people were like really into it. And the Monopole is an old building; it's been there since like the late 1800s. So like you can feel
Cool.
the whole building kind of wobble a little bit, but it's kind
Yeah.
of just part of the vibe. But we were all, it just felt like an incredible time. We were, and I think even that night we ended up staying at like a friend's house up in there, and it was just an awesome time. A lot of good friends over there.
Cute. That's an awesome
Yeah.
experience. And then do you have a favorite show outside of like Farsight and like your musical like endeavors like that has like stood out for you as well?
Oh, like as an attendee.
Yeah.
Hmm. I've seen a lot of crazy bands too. I mean,
Yep.
I'm wearing my Sugar shirt right now. I remember the first time I saw Meshuggah at the Immutable tour in like October of 2022, and at that point I'd wanted to see Meshuggah for a long time, and that was an incredible experience. But I'd say what was incredible? Hmm. I'd say mainly just because of the fact that Free isn't the same type of band that as they were before. Because I'm a
Yep.
huge Periphery fan. This was back when Nolly was in the band. They were touring for the Juggernaut tour in like 2015, and
Mhm.
we were like front row at Irving Plaza, and like people were pushing like crazy at the barricade. And that was just such a incredible show. I really miss when Periphery was kind of like pushing hard like that back then.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
like wild to see the different developments of like where bands have gone. Like
yeah,
from like yes, different sounds can be cool and such, but like it's hit or miss with a lot of them.
yeah, yeah, totally. I'd say maybe like a new show, something more recent times. I'd probably say I saw Turnstile at Under the K Bridge when they came back for the Never Enough tour, at least like the first initial mini tour before the tour that they're doing now.
Yeah.
And that was my first time seeing Turnstile. I've wanted to see them for a long time, and like seeing them outside, it was incredible. And they played a
Yeah.
lot of old songs, a lot of new songs, and then all of a sudden Haley Williams came out. I was like, "Holy shit!" And
Yeah, I would freak
I've never
out.
seen Paramore live. So and then me and my brother so happened to be in a Paramore cover band a few years ago, so we know a lot of the music. And so like
Exactly.
I remember like I was walking back to get a vinyl for my friend and I, and as I'm waiting online, they're playing man, I forgot the song, but Haley Williams on the song, and I hear her voice, and I look over, and I was like, "Is that fucking Haley
Oh.
Williams?" I was like, "Where am I right now?" Yeah, that was a crazy show. A lot of big mixed crowd too, because I mean, like Turnstile is grabbed the attention of every kind of person these days. So you've got like people that have been there, been with them since 10, 15 years, and
Yeah,
then people that are just finding out about them now from like the whole TikTok scene and everything. So people were
exactly.
really close because we were like closest to the barricade as the show started, and there was like a lot of people there that really didn't know what was going to happen because they opened up with Never Enough, and then right after they were going to go into Seven and Keep It Moving from the first album, and people start winding up for that OG Turnstile stuff, and people are like, "What's happening?"
What's
And like,
happening?
no clue.
That's what I've like. It's wild. Like, and again, just like times and algorithms and things of like TikTok. Like, I was just at New England Metal and Hardcore, and it was exactly
Oh
that.
yeah,
All like
really?
people not understanding like that this is like what it is, and they've definitely found it like through TikTok, which is awesome that it's getting across. But like people getting just hurt because they have no clue like what to
Yeah,
expect.
it's like people got to work. People got to learn how to cross the street again.
Basically.
Yeah,
Oh, so then, kind of like same realm. Can you tell me some of your favorite local bands?
favorite
Can be
local
Team New
bands.
York. That is yes.
Absolutely. There's a lot of incredible local bands around here right now that are doing a lot of really great stuff. There's a band called Grail, Grael, doing fantastic stuff. Liberate, 10 Years Out, Last Laugh, NYC
Oh,
Shootout.
Last Laugh is
Um,
great. They've been up
oh
here a couple
yeah,
of times. Yeah.
yeah, they're really great stuff. They ended up opening for Pain of Truth on their hometown, or no, on their USA tour that they did earlier this year with Tsunami. I think they played like the Albany show with them. That was
Good
really
shit.
cool
Okay,
opportunity
good
for
for
them.
them. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's literally just naming a few. There's a temperament on we. Um, there's a million more. I definitely like missing the names. Oh, Do Not Enter. We played our last show with them in Queens this past weekend. And shout out Waver. They're a pop punk band. I used to be in that band a long time ago, and I still fill in with them whenever I can. But they're
Mhm.
awesome, and that's just to name a few. There's a million more, and it doesn't stop around here either.
Exactly. Like the scene, like bands are just like being popping up everywhere.
Oh yeah, it doesn't stop. Like they'll make new bands too, and kind of keep their scene going, which is really cool. Oh, shout out Top of the World. They're awesome. And Private Mind, and again, I could keep going. The list just keeps expanding, but it's really cool that we've got a very like prominent scene here. Because I mean, when we go on tour, there's different places to play and other bands to play with, but sometimes it's not the same case of where like the scene is just like really just blossoming with new bands all the time, and people are seeing new music all the time, or at least like other bands are coming out of state and passing through a lot of the time. So we are very fortunate here in Long Island that it's like just a nonstop area of incredible music.
No, that's what even like whenever thankfully the last two tours I've been on have hit Poughkeepsie and Reason and Ruckus, but that's like the same thing I feel about like going back out there because growing up I didn't get to like go to as many like I did not get to go to local shows because like my parents and everything. So then like coming back and getting to see how it like actually is and everything out here
Mm-hmm.
or out there and such like it's not going to stop, which is amazing.
Yeah, and I'm really glad about that because we talked about the pandemic as well, and like there were like the hardcore scene and like other scenes here, they were there, but ever since the pandemic came, at least we all passed through it and we all came back to seeing and playing shows. Like it just kept going bigger and bigger every year. Even Amityville Music Hall over here, it was always just the small original layout. And because of the demand for not only more shows to happen, but for bigger bands to pass through, they ended up buying out the property next door and expanding and making it double the size. And they ended up organizing the venue the way they wanted to, adding a green room, a bigger stage, more bathrooms, thank God.
Important.
And, yeah, and but it's it goes back to the demand of what Long Island needs. People want to play here more. Other people and bands from other areas want to come here more. So we're really in
Like
like
the
a
amount
kind of
of bands that have come out of Long Island, like
oh yeah,
that is amazing. But yeah, that's like kind of same thing with Bad Burger. It still has single stalls, which are awful. That's the I'm waiting for that to be like the upgrade to have more
yeah,
bathrooms, but we just like upgraded the stage and everything, and it's like not even something that they thought like was going to be a thing, but like with shows happening now like every single weekend, and the amount of bands I have hitting me up like to then play like all of these shows, like it's everyone has like the same ideas, and it's amazing to
that's
see.
awesome. I'm glad it's happening in other areas as well. It's a great thing when you don't run out of bands to book.
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
and then it's like seeing bands like from areas that like you wouldn't even think of, like that
Hmm.
are just like also like it's like you said, like it's happening everywhere, and it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Next question. What do you recommend for bands that are planning their first weekend run or tours?
Uh, I guess definitely a couple things. Decide on how many things that you are planning to bring as far as gear and luggage, because you could either spend the weekend driving to hotels and staying there, which could be costly, or you might as well tough it out and rent a van and sleep in the van. That's kind of something that we do quite a lot as sleeping in the van, because when you're driving from place to place and you want to be able to at least get a good night's sleep and not have to lug your stuff into the hotel and back, it definitely helps a lot to just make a little bunk for yourself and sleep in the van. We've
Yeah.
got like a good situation going where two people will sleep in the two front seats. We'd remove the first row of seats so we could put like kind of like a foam padded mat on the bottom, and me and Dylan will sleep down there, and then somebody will get like that next row, and then the last row we remove that and leave all the gear and the merch back there, and we try to stay at least at a place that will allow some people to park overnight and stuff. So 24-hour
Definitely.
Planet Fitness is good.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel's also great. You wake up, use their bathrooms, get the food,
Mhm.
and go. That usually helps a lot. And I'd say also when you're planning your run too, definitely try to make sure that the order of dates makes sense. Because if you've got a really crazy route and all of a sudden you got to do insane drives night after night, it can not only like hurt your wallet because of gas, but also kind of hurt your mental because now you're spending all day just driving, and it can be
Mhm.
exhausting when you should just get to the venue, play, eat, go to sleep. So we've had a lot of experience over the past couple of years figuring that out and everything. But
Having the trips that weren't as well planned as other
oh
ones.
yeah, and like we had still cases where like it'll be well planned, but it'll still be like the orientation of the dates will be in the right order, but all of a sudden we got to drive 7 hours from North Carolina to Maryland for a show, and we get there at sound check, and it works out, but we
Exhausted, like
yeah,
through it, like
exhausted,
being
yeah,
actual zombies and everything.
totally, yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten to see with the two tours I've done this year, like with the first was like mostly Airbnb and doing that, but the second one was like sleeping in the van with like the band and everything. It
Yeah.
was with Slugs, and I love all those
Oh,
guys with
nice.
all my heart, but there were certain mornings that I woke up and I wanted to kill every single one of them. And it's just accepting like you're not gonna get sleep and doing all of that for that week, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
completely worth it and you miss it
Yeah.
the moment you get back.
Yeah. Oh, and eye covers. I highly recommend eye covers because I'm sure you're not gonna have like all the right covering for the windows. Because if you're sleeping right next to a like a parking lot street light, then like
Yeah.
kind of
You're not gonna get full sleep, yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. Can you tell me more about Farsight's, like, writing process? Like, bands, like, kinda do each thing differently, like, what comes
Yeah.
first, then how do you run with it?
Usually, me and Matt will start writing in the computer at his house and kind of line some riffs together and start programming some drums. And then we'll have our vocalist Sean come in, and I really like having the vocalists. I like their sorry, I'm brain farting. Just
That's no
having
problem.
their input as far as like kind of what they like, what they don't like, as far as structure and riffs goes, because you want to make sure you have enough room for them to do their thing too. And I feel like when the vocalist puts their input in, then you can kind of be like, all right, now I know exactly what kind of a structure is going on. And then we bring it to our drummer, and we start jamming it out, and all of a sudden it's pretty much put together. We kind of like line a couple more things up, and we're pretty much happy with that. But as I was saying, with like we have a new vocalist and drummer right now. We've been writing a ton. We've got at least like 9 songs new since like then, and it just doesn't seem to stop. If anything, we have to put a halt on it now so we can just record a lot of those songs and get them more in the final stages of them. But it's been a really great time. I'm really happy with the music that we're making right now. Kind of more back on the heavier end of things, but still pushing the envelope more with different writing styles and different riffs and stuff, and even different effects. Because we use like these neural DSP quad cortexes, and they have a lot of different types of effects built within them, and we'd like to use that within our songs and their soundscape and everything.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Here, let me. It was yelling at me that I had too many things open. Okay, there we go. It's like if this pauses now, that won't be good. And then with that, who are you like? Are you guys doing a lot of the recording yourselves? Like, who are you usually like going to and such?
We actually do a lot of our recordings ourselves. My other guitar player went to SUNY Purchase to for sound engineering and music. Yeah, for sound engineering, and so he learned a lot there. And we record a lot of our stuff at his house if it needs to be kind of direct in. And we were recording drums at our practice space, and we were doing it just for demos. But as we kind of got everything mic'd up, and my drummers got a really great kit, we were like, man, it sounds really, really good. So we might just record everything on our own like that, and
Okay.
maybe there's a there's somebody that has like kind of a home studio. This guy Dan in his studio Riff Haven, and he's got a really great room with really incredible amps and nice studio monitors that we might go and reamp our guitars there, because we can record all of our DIs on our own, but we can just take those stems and just push them through a regular amp and try to see how they sound. And even through then, like plugins sound really great these days. It might just be fine doing those, but more often than not, we've been doing everything on our own for a lot of the time that we've had this band, and it helps a lot, keep the price down, but also since we're crafting it, we can kind of redo things over if we need to without having to spend more money too, which helps quite a lot.
That like each edit that you would have to do, or even how expensive it is, like recording all of that, like being able to cut costs, like to still have the sound that like you have, like it just makes it easier for who you're going to and yourselves.
Exactly. And especially with the more we do that too, we kind of get a better feel as far as how we know we want to sound and how to even get it there. Because not to put any shade on like going to studios, because I think going to studios is an incredible thing. I'd love to bring us to a producer one day, but I really do like our sound and our taste for how things kind of come out. So I would ride that as much as possible until I can go to like the producer I would love to go to one day. But you know, anything to keep the cost down for now.
That because like when you say you have 9 songs ready to go, like that's full album pretty much, and that's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh
So
my god, yeah! Like if we were to
until
go to
like
like
you can,
big name, which like we totally could, but I don't have 10 grand.
that exactly. So it's like
Yeah,
you said, like planning so that like whenever that time does come, like amazing to do
yeah,
that, but you're already like fine tuned in every other thing so that you have that.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Oh, no, it is insane to think of, like, the costs of everything, which,
Yeah,
um, kind of funny for next question, what is, like do you have any gear that, like, is your, like, absolute go-to that, like, over time you have learned and such, and what are your recommendations?
I'd say like I was saying before, the quad cortex, we use those when we're writing and stuff, and I think they're an incredible live tool because of their size and form factor. They're incredibly small, maybe like this big, but like the amount of different tones you can get out of them, the sound quality is incredible, and being able to kind of do as much as you can within that small piece of gear is incredible, because we used to use Kempers before, and Kempers are incredible too. People use them all around the world, but we used to travel around with this huge 16 space rack and throw two Kempers in there. And we were using backing tracks at the time, which we do use backing tracks these days, but we haven't been running our whole click and in-ear rig just because we need to fix a couple pieces in that rack. So to even travel without that has been an incredible godsend, because now it's even less stuff to bring around. But
Exactly.
the quad cortex is a very, very vital tool when it comes to just the way we sound live. They've got a very present sound as far as like not using a tube amp. I really recommend those. And then for like the power amp, so we can get it into the cabinet, we use a Quilter Tone Block 202 for the guitars, and then my brother uses a Tone Block, the Bass Block 803 for his bass. And those Quilter power amps, they're very small too, almost like a little bit smaller than a Quad Cortex, but they just push so much power. I've never had to push it past halfway, and it can be used in any room, any cabinet. And between both of those makes it so much easier to travel with our gear too, because we talk about touring and being able to consolidate in size. So now that we're able to carry smaller and less stuff, and it sounds better than what we were using before, it makes it so we can sound our best everywhere we need to go. And if
Yeah,
we have
like,
to play Madison
no-brainer,
Square Garden tomorrow, we can. So I like
and
that.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
Um, my friends in Rap Blood, like, had, issues with their quad cortex the last tour that they were on. Like, have
Mhm.
you seen has there been days or shows, like, where you've seen issues and, like, how is the, like, fix for that and such, like,
I
looking
have
like?
never really had any issues with my quad cortex. Usually, if it's any sort of bugs, it's pretty rare, but not to say that. I mean, some people need to learn like the ins and outs of their quad cortex. So
Mhm.
if they do need help, they should hit me up. I've I've worked on a lot of quad cortexes for a lot of people. Even Pain of Truth right now, they came to me when they were going to do this tour that they're doing right now at the stores so far. So I set up their quad cortex so they can use a proper like kind of AB rig, because they're only using one guitar player right now. And usually to have one guitar player play on both sides of the stage, you need two amps and a couple extra pedals to switch between both of them. But the quad cortex can use that on its own and just have everything routed that way. But I know how to do that. So I'd say anybody that's looking to have any quad cortex powwows, I'm definitely the guy for
That
that.
is you're the one to go to. No, that
Yeah,
is good tool to have.
yeah.
That is awesome. Let me scroll up. Oh, second part of it. Who are some of your favorite artists, bands in general, like outside of the local scene?
Yeah. Periphery, probably one of my favorites. Been influenced by them since like high school. Probably the biggest reason why I do a lot of things I do today. I even use like a Misha Mansour signature guitar. So sold me. Uh, I'm really into Meshuggah, of course, and oh, Speed, wearing their hat right now. I
Absolutely.
really love their live energy and how they're able to convey a lot of the riffs and motifs that they use in their songs that really just make the whole live experience so collaborative with the crowd. It really makes a lot of it changes the live experience for from a lot of shows that I've seen before. Uh,
Yeah.
Trapped Under Ice is another band. I just love their melodic capabilities and everything for what they do with their music. Marauder, old 90s hardcore band. They have incredible, like, just musicality in their songs, especially for it just being like within the hardcore landscape. Their riffing is really, really insane. Um, let's see what else. Oh, Knock Loose, another band that's definitely like kind of formidable for why we made Farsight, just wanting to be in that heavier landscape. And we were really influenced by the Laugh Tracks album that came out way back. And that just made me want to play like heavier stuff. That was probably one of the first like hardcore bands I heard back then.
Mm-hmm.
And especially today, they're just taking over. We saw them open for Slipknot at Madison Square Garden for that tour,
Yeah.
which was the first time I saw Slipknot too.
That
And
was,
yeah,
I think, second time, but I did photos for the state of that, and I was just like, sobbing while taking photos and such because Isaac Hale has like to the day like year like same birthday as me, like his twin. So
oh,
like
it's
to see them do like how they have blown up and such, I was like, this is fine, everything is fine.
yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, seeing Slipknot at that point, I had never seen Slipknot before. I've been a big Slipknot fan my entire life. My dad got the self-titled like 1999 VHS tape back in the 90s when I was a child, like a baby. And I remember seeing it when I was a kid too. My mom took it away. She was like, "Oh, there's all these curse words in there." And then I remembered that when I grew up later and still stuck with it. But that being seeing Slipknot for the first time, them only playing the first album and also having Eloy. Like I was standing there with Matt. We went there as a band. Then I was looking at Matt next to me. We were like, I feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack right now.
That I didn't even
Like,
realize that Eloy was in the band. Yeah, because I had seen them at Blue Ridge with
mhm.
Jane Weinberg and everything, like still at the end of that. And I'm like, I remember just my head like turning and being like that, like knowing it was him, like hearing him, like insane,
Yeah.
like more
Oh yeah,
freaking out.
hitting like an absolute madman. But like he's
Uh-huh.
got such an incredible internal clock that like, and no shade on Jay. I mean, Jay Weinberg is an incredible drummer too. But
Yeah.
Eloy, like he was able to kind of like pull the band back and play closer to the tempos of the album because they don't play to a click live. They're just still a live band. But he knows how to keep the clock in
He
on
is
that
the click.
live band.
Like
Oh yeah, and like from that, like even Corey sounds incredible because he doesn't have to rush his parts as much. He can really do more with his lyrical content, and he sounds so good. I've listened to live records from a long time ago. Like I still remember my dad playing the Subliminal Versus 3 live CD like in the truck when I was a kid, and
yeah.
like seeing them live just play everything even better than they played it before. I was just like, it's so incredible to see a band just continue to get better. And oh, just sorry with the tangents and everything. Huge
No, it's part
Deftones
of it.
fan. Like we saw Deftones also play MSG when they came around with Fleshwater, and
Oh.
like I've always loved Deftones, like growing up and everything, and then now they've got their new album, and seeing them still put out like top of the line, incredible classic music is also very inspiring. So they're a huge inspiration for me too.
Oh, hell yeah. No, it's cool to see the bands like that and do like it like you said, like seeing Slipknot live and everything. I am wicked sad that the Speed Turnstile tour was the same day in Boston as New England Metal and Hardcore. So like so
Oh
many like
yeah,
yeah, so I missed out, but like my friend Kat that one said it was like the best show of her life because it is
yeah,
like that live performance, like how what Slipknot puts on, what as you said, what Speed puts on and everything. Like now I'm
yeah,
just seeing like the TikToks of their tour and everything, and it is that energy and such that
yeah.
carries it.
I was actually at the Philly date with my friends for the Turnstile Speed show too. So, and
Damn.
we were driving down to Philly that day, and we went to the Airbnb and met up with everybody, and we were driving to the venue. And I got there with my brother, waiting for everybody else to get there. And all of a sudden, I hear Speed get on. I was like, I gotta go in there right now. So,
Bye.
so yeah, we got in there, and of course, Speed just having an incredible show, always doing a top notch job.
Hmm. That was on set like at the Palladium. That's how I felt about seeing Guilt Trip because like this is
Oh,
their
cool.
first American run and everything. And I made this decision to not see Peeling Flesh, but like had to fight my way through like exactly. Just like yeah, that. Because Big Ass Truck was playing inside at like was ending the same time like during Peeling
Yeah,
Flesh, so I was like able to fight my way through, but it was like that, like the Beyond Violent, like the show that like so many bands put on that day, but
yeah. Peeling
oh,
Flesh is also another band that's been like a recent influence on us. I think right before we got our new vocalist and drummer, we were starting to write a lot of the new stuff that we have right now. Like me and my other guitar player Matt, we listened to that album, the Purple album. I forgot what it was called, but they put that out in like December or maybe a little bit before that. And I remember hearing it and going like, I never was like a big like Slam fan before, and because I always like hear it in passing, but like something for what they were doing, I'm like, this is just absolutely
yes, yeah.
insane. I love that shit.
No, it's cool to see, like, and hearing because, like, you kinda listed more, like, hardcore leaning bands, I noticed,
Yeah,
like, in a
yeah,
lot of your influences and such, but going into, like, what Farsight sounds like and everything that goes into that, like, I love hearing from musicians, like, where that comes from because there's certain people that, like, "Oh, yeah, I do a lot of jazz and such," and then, like, you re-listen to it. Oh, one of my very no, it was the very first episode we did with Rob, who's now in Servants of Sorrow. He like said Cannibal Corpse like has a lot of like hip hop like influences and such. And I'm like, no. And then I listened to it and I was like, holy shit, he's right. Like
yeah,
just all of it going into it.
yeah, yeah. I'm actually. It's funny you mentioned jazz. I grew up on a lot of like jazz fusion from my dad and everything, and I'm see here with my King Crimson tattoo,
Hell
and
yeah.
like it's cool to like encompass like a lot of different styles, and it doesn't even have to be like a part of what you're doing always, but as long as like you're kind of keeping a lot of things in mind, it keeps your scope of what music can be very vast and understanding of everything.
Hmm. That it like can just bring like so much into it and like looking at it like okay it can sound like this but like how can I now like make that heavy and such.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, and that brings us to the last question of what's next for Farsight.
What's next is next week we have our run through the Northeast, where I'll pull up the dates that we have. Let's see, we're playing the whole run with Mortal Reminder, which I've heard about them like a long time ago, and just from like the visuals and the sound quality of their band, I never like saw them, but just from what I saw on Instagram, I thought they were like already like a humongous band like touring and stuff. And turns out they're local from up there too, but like they have incredible music, so I'm very honored to be a part of a tour with them. So we're playing. Let's see, we're playing in Manchester at Bad Burger. Hype for that.
Hell
Um,
yeah, you get to have burgers on stage.
Oh, I really appreciate getting to play a food place because I'm a huge foodie, and
Mhm.
Lord knows I'm gonna be eating before and after for sure.
Absolutely.
Uh,
I'm like good about like being like, okay, kitchen closes at 11, so make sure that prior to 11 because it happens to me every time where I'm like it's
yeah,
11:05 and the kitchen is closed and I have not eaten.
yeah. And then we're playing at Kodo upstairs in Lowell, Massachusetts for like a little. Oh, that's the festival that you're putting
That
on.
is for
Yeah,
this, the Angry Advocate Fest. Yeah.
very excited for that. It's gonna be a really cool time. And then our last date on that run is going to be at Alchemy in Providence, Rhode Island. And my brother played at Alchemy. He was filling in for a band called Secret Gardens. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but
Mhm.
incredible instrumental band, and they're doing a lot of really cool stuff right now because the guitar player and the bass of that band are now kind of like in a lot like birds, so they're kind of intertwined with that scene. But
Yeah.
incredible music nonetheless. They at that time they opened up for Bill Murray over there, which is such a sick show.
So
I wish I
cool.
went. I didn't even. I Oh my god, I really wish I was able to go to that. But
I listen to a lot of Bill Murray. That's
after
awesome.
that run, We're playing in Essex, Vermont at First Republic Brewing Co. And then the next day, October 24th, Florence, Massachusetts at JJ's Tavern. And then the 25th, back in Plattsburgh at Peabody's with Geeked Out. That's going to be a sick show. And it's not announced yet, but there's going to be a local show here in Massapequa, VFW, doing like an all-day Halloween hardcore show. So we'll be playing that as well. So it's going to be quite a long weekend. And
Quite a
that day
busy
is going to be quite a
October.
long drive going from Plattsburgh back home. So I'm at least happy to go back home to play that show. So it'll be a great time.
That's really cool. Yeah, and JJ's Tavern is cool. That's actually the first time I saw Resistor, which was with Rap Blood, and then I saw you guys out
Nice.
in Agawam at the tank that first
Oh
time way back when.
yeah, yeah.
With Chokeout. I love Chokeout.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, I think we're playing with them on the second run that we have throughout one of those
Yeah, I
days.
think you guys are. I think I saw on the 24th. They're
Yes.
coming up to Bad Burger on the 25th with Mercy Whip.
Nice.
And such. But yeah, all intertwined. It's awesome.
Yep, totally.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for taking time out of your day to come talk to me about all things music and such.
Thanks for
Excited
having me.
to see you next week for our little weekend run and things. And yeah, it's gonna be a blast. 14 bands at the podcast. I actually should have the flyer for the final flyer within the next few times, but by the time this episode comes out on Thursday, which is that the 2nd, the full lineup will definitely be announced. Yeah, this will come out this Thursday, October 2nd, probably at 1 p.m.
Awesome.
And then then we'll go from next week, and it'll be a fun time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Ash.
Absolutely. I hope you have a good night.
For sure. You too.
Thanks.